What to do, ladies and dudes? You know who we be. Jawz in the booth. Vulgar Desperado.
Gentleman Bastard.
Sinister Diplomat.
And yo, as some diehard DC fans here, maybe arguably, at least for me personally, a bigger fan than I am of Marvel.
So I'll second it.
It's 50-50, man. I'm a character guy at first.
So, it's painful to say this, but we must pose the question here. The dogs.
What's the question?
Is the DC extended universe dead? Is it done? Is it pointless? Should they give up on this motherfucker? Because after watching what they were touting as Flash to be the greatest thing since fucking sliced bread, you kind of realize that, okay, what are you even really excited for after that shit? Because that was a big letdown.
It was.
Well, and then it's like we're supposed to, like, Blue Beetle's the next thing coming out.
Yeah. And who the fuck gives a fuck about Blue Beetle?
Like, I don't hate him enough because I don't know him enough, but
I feel
for
like
that to be the intro to what we're supposed to be getting.
Yeah.
Bro,
especially when they have in their ad a fucking Batman roast calling him a fascist, which just doesn't even make sense.
Exactly.
You're like the guy that's beating up the people getting robbed in the hood.
I look at it how Marvel did start up their franchise.
Beating up the criminals. I think it said beating up the guys.
How Marvel started up their franchise with Iron Man. Like,
as in the movie?
Yeah. Crushed in the box office, did all the good stuff. They casted it great. But it's a known character that everybody... It's not even the main, like, Avenger, but he's fucking a main fucking Avenger in the long run. You don't start off with fucking Hawkeye and, like, here we go. Like, we're going to get a franchise rolling with Hawkeye, and then from there we'll build it to, like Quicksilver or something like that, you know. And we get Iron Man and Captain America. You don't do that. Like, that's just a bad build-up.
Yeah, I mean, especially because you're right. Like, this is technically a reboot, and you're technically or restarting, whatever you want to call it, you know. And it technically, if Blue Beetle is the first out the bat, like I'll be real. I think DC's been trying to push Blue Beetle for a real long time. And me personally, as reading, like, I read Teen Titans, like, back in the early 2000s, some shit like that. And he works in the Teen Titans. Yeah. But outside of that, I don't really give a fuck.
Like, if it's not Teen Titans time, if you're not bringing in all the sidekicks to make up this superhero type team that they can be, then I don't see the point of bringing Blue Beetle now.
Exactly.
Like, not at one point, but just right now, Blue Beetle.
I think he'd be cool in a TV show.
Like something like that. I was just going to say, Titans. Like, being honest, if you were going to start a reboot, why not start with, like, something like Teen Titans? Something that we haven't really seen people try to venture off into. Because we do all like Robin,
like
we all like Beast Boy, Starfire, Raven, we all like those characters.
And I think you bring up a good point because, you know, James Gunn said this is not, his new Superman is not going to be an origin story. I don't think they're using Lex, they're using the Authority, some really unknown who the fuck are these nigga looking ass villains.
Yeah.
And they keep mentioning, hey, we don't want to tell the origin, we want to tell something new. Okay, tell us something new with people we actually like. And I mean, like, they introduced Cyborg. Well, they already put him in the Justice League status, so he can't go back down to the Teen Titans.
No,
but there's I think you're right, as in there's ways to, and maybe it might not be Teen Titans. I don't really know, but I think personally, like, you're right. Like, okay, what if you just start off Bat Family? Start off Bat Family. You do a Batman movie, you introduce some Nightwing, Robin, you extend that universe, and then you get it to the point. Like, really, that would take 1 or 2 movies where you add in some aliens or some magic. That way, you're like, okay, well, we introduced it. Now we go extend it further. Or I mean, obviously, James Gunn is starting with Superman. That's kind of like the best logical way to go in.
That makes the most effing sense to all
Superman
senses.
hears everything. That fool could just find the Amazon
Who gives a
shit.
fuck about the Authority? It's like it's like a really random rogues gallery of like 6 or 7 people, and maybe one of them is powerful, maybe a couple of them aren't. But let's be real,
It's
like,
still
Give me
super
somebody
bad.
to be hype
Superman,
about.
yeah,
You
like,
know, somebody that you're actually gonna
Brainiac.
fight.
Where the fuck is Brainiac?
Like, Brainiac's one of his, if not his
Well-
biggest bad guy. Plus, he controlled all of like Krypton and shit. Like, there's some history with him. He's not an origin story, but he would have a lot of story with him.
I think you're right.
You know?
Like, hey, and you know what? Like, I'd even be okay. Maybe not the first movie, but like, I'd be okay with some Bizarro. Like, Bizarro Superman cracks me up.
Well,
Bizarro say yes. Like, bro, you should see that Robot Chicken fucking DC special. Poor Bizarro gets married to fucking like Gorilla Grodd ass dude. Like,
hell no.
Bizarro say yes. No, Bizarro say yes. Like, fucking A.
I just think that if they're trying to keep the DC universe around and relevant, getting rid of the basis of it to me, because I don't even know, like, personally, James Gunn's not the gritty fucking dark guy.
Yeah, and I think you're right there too, because I think what a lot of people don't realize is DC personally, and I don't even say like personally, I just think like, okay, DC started off like all comics, happy-go-lucky. Then in the 90s, they got like all comics in the 90s kind of got gritty, but DC kind of stayed
They
gritty.
took the dark.
DC,
They took it and
yeah,
rolled
like
that shit.
DC was like the darker, and I think DC maybe even back in the happier days was still probably a little bit more gritty.
Oh, yeah.
But DC always was just like that. Like we grew up in the generation of, you know, Batman dying. Like, Barry Allen was dead for like a good fucking almost like 20 years, I think, you know, from Crisis of Infinite Earth before they brought him back in Rebirth. You know, like a lot of gritty things happen in the DC world, and that's kind of people like, well, they want it to be light and fun and happy, but also gritty. It's like, you like, I
How
don't
are they
think
gonna do something like Black Lanterns if they keep on making everything so happy,
Which
go
would be
lucky and
really
stuff?
actually
Like,
sick.
And yeah, that's what I'm saying too.
you
'cause-
can't even do that because
No.
you got to have all those dead people.
Exactly.
If everybody is alive all the time, then you can't get to something that's a pivotal ass story point that they've already built that you can use. Like, I don't know, if it's gonna just be another comedy gallery of superheroes, then Barry Allen was the only one that would really work in DC, and that's about it.
Yeah, and like again, there's happy-go-lucky in DC still. Like, it's not like it's fucking gone. Like, that's not the
Right.
the dramatic point. Like, the end game is to keep your fucking style. Like, people don't hate fucking dark. Again, man, why do horror movies always fucking stay relevant? Because
Right.
people love fucking death and shit like
let's
that.
be real, like, how did the Snyder Cut even get to be to where it was? People wanted dark side. People wanted the gritty stuff, you know? And I think that's something that a lot of people, when they're complaining about Zack Snyder's, you know, version of things, that this is how you kind of get the Flash. You get the same old mildly Marvel version of a DC film that should be more like DC characters, but they look like and act like Marvel niggas. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I think that you're right, as in they should kind of keep and stick to their style and embrace some of that darkness. Like, again, I think everyone's going to have their different opinions on it. I don't think it's a really good complaint, in my opinion, about he was too dark and too edgy. And I was like, bro, like, I don't know, man. I just didn't get that vibe. Maybe I'm fucking jaded and fucking damaged, you know, and desensitized to all like the graphic shit that we've seen. So Man of Steel was not that like dark and gritty to me.
No, I
Batman
thought
v
that was
Superman wasn't either.
It
Like,
was a good way of telling, especially their story. It
And
didn't
then
have to be just a
but
straight up origin. They
yeah.
built up an entire story of two superheroes you already knew, brought in Wonder Woman, and it was like, yo, here we go. We got nothing but the Trinity. And I don't know. I feel that it was setting up exactly what it needed
Well,
to
yeah,
be.
again, it was getting to a
Like-
point, and especially if you watch when everybody watches the Snyder Cut, everybody knew right away. Like,
there was a vision.
Yeah.
There was a vision.
Yeah, like, you
and
could
I think,
see it.
Yeah, and I think because, and look, James Gunn, maybe I would like him to surprise me. Being a diehard DC fan, I want to be wrong, but I don't have any hope for this next version.
no.
He to me, man, I like the Guardians of the Galaxy movies.
Guardians was
Those are
cool.
really
Suicide
good.
Squad was good.
Yeah, again, he did not do. He has not steered me wrong in the sense of
Comedy action.
like
Exactly.
exactly.
That's what I was saying. If
But
everything's going to be a comedy
he's-
circle.
It's a lot of it also will go into the writing, and a lot of it will also go into, you know, how he casts. If he can cast fucking great, and these people can fucking make you want to go watch a movie, that's what you need. But I also thought, I didn't think Ben Affleck was going to be that great as Batman. And I thought he did pretty good. Like, I can't really complain. He played old Batman to me fucking fine.
Yeah.
Better could it be? Sure. Is he Christian Bale? Fuck no. That's a different level of Batman.
True.
But even Robert Pattinson, he did a good job. Like, no one's done a terrible job playing Batman or even playing Superman, playing Wonder Woman. No one's done a bad job at acting. So casting's been relatively fucking good.
Yeah,
but story has
because they're trying.
Right.
They don't know who they want to be, and
they don't know the route they want to go.
Yeah, and I think James Gunn, like
Snyder
I think
man.
the thing is with James Gunn, like maybe he can find that balance for them because Suicide Squad was a little gritty in the sense that they were killing niggas like that, but at the same time it was still it's the Suicide Squad.
Like, that whole
I'm not really
time
like
was just who's gonna be better between Peacemaker and freaking Bloodsport.
Bloodsport.
Like the whole time, all the jokes back and forth. It's like it worked because there was a lot of action, but at the same time, you really sit down and think about it. There is a shit ton of just here goes another joke, here goes another joke, here goes how I'm better than you type of joke.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, that works in that realm.
Yeah.
But for Superman and just kind of running the whole DC gambit, I don't know because, like, I don't want more light and fluffy. Like, I want more badass warrior. I want some like, to be honest, like. You can be a serious movie, just like the Nolan trilogy. Just be serious and treat it all like seriously.
There was still humor in
there's
movies.
jokes, but they're like more
it
humor.
Alfred's,
Exactly.
it's witty, subtle.
Exactly.
It gets you enticed into what you're actually
exactly. I want to have something like where you really got to pay attention, kind of like you get absorbed into the story.
Man, I think that's why movies like Inception were great because you had to pay attention to them. If you do that to a fucking comic book movie, man, you're taking it to realms that people don't go to.
Well, I think that's what, in my personal opinion, I think that's what Zack Snyder was doing.
It's
but
so close,
audience says no, and I mean, listen, everyone's got their own opinion, but
the bullshit audience says no. The actual audience, the people that want those fucking movies, are saying like, "Fucking bring me that shit."
Exactly, and I think a lot of people, if maybe I think they were just too hung up on Marvel to see where this was going because. Like Zack Snyder said in some interview not too long ago, he's like, I was trying to make this big epic. And I was like, yes, an epic. I think that's the best way to describe something like what you can get from DC is an epic.
Well,
like,
again,
some of their comic events, I think, are way more epic than some of Marvel's, At least they have some bigger, better ones.
I don't even think Marvel's choosing the best, events to make big. They chose great events for sure, but there's also storylines that are so much better. Again, for me, like Fear Itself, I've always wanted to see Fear Itself because it put Marvel into a darker fucking realm. It put them into a different space than what they were used to, but still having the same characters being them same fucking characters. Mm-hmm. Like Spider-Man's still fucking funny and not so serious. That's you don't lose that. You're not supposed to. Right. That's literally what's going to kill the DC universe now, is because we're not going to get.
Well, and that's why I think maybe
characters.
They just need to kind of just give up in a way, because I don't think that they know how to or want to do that, and since they're even afraid to do that, you might as well just tap out and say, look, Marvel kind of won that game back in the day. It's over now.
But did they, again, man, during a period, man, again, when did all these,
No,
I said there was a period, though, again, when these Batman movies were coming out, the Christopher Nolan ones, where it was yo, bro, I'm going to go watch this fucking Batman 18 times.
Well, but in the whole cinematic universe bit, that's kind of what I'm talking about. So let's just, but my point being is that now that the game and the contest is all kind of over, maybe DC should focus on just kind of independent films, that there is no interconnected. Because one thing that a lot of people used to say is okay, DC's killing it in the animated universe. And that's true. Their animated universe was really good. Their video games was really good. And at one point, their comics were really good. They just lost the movie game. And at this point, you
It
know,
might
people
be
like the
because-
Batman, but
Yep.
you know,
they're
I like again. I'm
It's
all
not
about
bad.
it. We'll see what
It's-
happens.
Yeah, you know, but like I said, in the Joker, they like that one, which, you know, it's a little overrated, but it's still not bad.
It's not bad.
So, you know, just maybe do, you know, like independent films of just not connected.
Something
They're
that
just
doesn't need to be. It's all in the same realm. We all know that it's all DC. We know it's that
because,
universe,
like,
but
because,
we don't
you
have
know,
them to be.
because
cinematic.
Zack Snyder probably knew how to better make the Justice League come together and not just have this OP ass movie.
Exactly.
It's very hard to get all those. I mean, people are like, well, the Avengers, true, but
That was still fucking hard, man.
but not even that. In the Avengers, like, it's Thor and Hulk that are like, all right, these niggas is OP. The other motherfuckers can actually die.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yep,
And they start
exactly.
adding niggas, you know, Wanda and Quicksilver, whatever. But let's be real, you know, the main core.
Yeah.
But Wonder Woman, Superman, Green Lantern, Flash, yo, it's like it gets. Then Aquaman's out here bullshitting. You're like, oh, this nigga doing.
yeah.
Exactly.
Like, bro, only normal nigga was Batman. And even he was on some bull.
Yeah,
so
but I just
then they
literally
started
just
bringing in
watched
Marshall
this.
Man. Like, bro, it was like the niggas is super OP, and it would have been cool. That being said, you know, look, in
But
the end of the
to
day,
me, all DC characters are super.
they're
fucking
super OP.
Yep.
But you know, and
They
maybe,
made them that way for a reason.
and maybe that's why they just can't do it. They don't know how to do it. It's a hard art. The comics can do it. You got to get the right writers. I don't really know. All I know is I don't have faith in James Gunn. And
Not to
No,
do
I don't have
justice.
enough. I don't have
because
enough.
even after
Not to
watching
do
Shazam,
justice.
like I was just kind of like, hey, just quit, bro. Like there's a whole
Yeah.
subplot about that nigga and his name. Y'all, his real name is Captain Marvel. He can't even say Shazam. That would turn into a boy.
They switch back
They
and
don't know
forth.
what the fuck they're
Yeah.
doing. They
Like,
don't
fuck
even.
up.
They are literally admitting you in this movie that they don't even know what to call the motherfucker. We
Exactly.
call the movie Shazam, but in the movie he is not Shazam. Well, sort of at the end of the movie, but it's pointless. It's just a clear sign of saying,
is.
hey, we're putting out people, but we don't know what to do with those people.
By not keeping that name, they destroyed an entire family. The entire Marvel
Family
family
is
of
good,
DC
yeah.
is gone
But it's
because you
so-
can't have
it's
Mary
so
Marvel,
fucking
Marvel,
crazy
Cap
how
Marvel
that
Jr.
shit
Like,
works, man.
It sucks. They
I
lost
knew-
that lawsuit, and now, yeah.
It's like I knew about Captain Marvel from DC way before.
And they
I
could
knew
have
about
just
this
they could have
bitch.
just kept it as
I
Miss
mean,
Marvel.
you could go to some
Couldn't
old DC animated universe movies, and literally they will be calling him Captain Marvel.
Exactly,
In that movie.
and for Marvel version, they could have had her as Miss Marvel.
She
didn't
was.
have to be
She
Captain
was Captain Marvel. And yeah, like
she could have
it's-
just been Miss
But
Marvel.
it was
would've
it,
been
was a
done.
lawsuit. They
Yeah,
did.
that's
so.
why it would have. It's just I don't know.
It's all I relate that lawsuit to is WWF. Same goddamn thing. What the fuck do I know the World Wildlife Foundation? Fuck no, I don't. But they sure do know. I know them now.
But what do y'all think in the comics? I think it's pretty unanimous here that maybe DC should give it up or definitely try a
Bye-bye.
different route that's maybe not connected as a universe. Because honestly, you guys have kind of let us down. You guys had something good with Snyder, but you blew it.
Yeah.
Just got rid of him, and he was definitely the
and you
bread
had
and butter.
faith in Ezra Miller for what fucking reason?
But-
After everything,
Yeah.
still.
So, what do you guys think in the comments? Do you want to give James Gunn and DC another chance? Are you guys over it just like we are? Do you actually think that they should maybe just do independent films that are not connected to as well? Or you got something else in your, pipeline?
Pipeline.
You got something in that pipe you smoking?
Like, other ideas that like y'all have for that. Let us know in the comments. But y'all know what it is. Jawz in the booth. Ogre Desperado on the mic.
Gentleman bastard with him.
Sinister Diplomat.
Oh, we'll catch you on the next one. Peace.
We out.